guys, what up? Welcome back.
Word.
So it's time to put a motor in Brutus. It's been sitting here in the background forever. It's been talking to us, y'all. We got a piece of 4-inch pipe zip tied on the side of the truck over there, and well, we walk by and we go,
Yeah.
and
We need to hear it in real life.
yeah,
now.
we're ready to hear this thing run. So instead of just jacking around anymore, we're just gonna have to get after it. Set the motor in this thing, get the transmission crossmember in it, get the trans in, and start rocking and rolling, because we have an event to be at October 21st in Gonzales, Texas, hosted by the Yellow Rose chapter. There's an antique truck show.
Yep.
And well, we want to go to it.
Yeah, it's put on by our papa, and he asked us, "Hey, y'all need to bring some, something old and cool." And well,
It's all big trucks that are there.
yeah, so we're gonna take a little truck.
Yeah, the littlest big truck that'll be there, and the
Yeah.
biggest little truck that'll be there, maybe.
Yeah.
But we want to go to that. We want to support our grandpa on our dad's side. We grew up riding in cool trucks. He drove a 58 Kenworth that had a 5 and a 4 in it, and a 350 Cummins. My uncle John Wesley had a 62 needle nose Pete, aluminum frame, tall gear, I think it had like 330s in it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Something like that. And I think it had a 13-speed in it, and a 400 Cummins that was turned up that was awesome. And then there was a 47 Kenworth that was out there. My dad drove a 79 Western Star that had a 400 Cummins in it and a 13-speed. So we grew up in a lot of cool trucks, all of them straight piped, either flat tops or polished 45s, 5, 6, 7, 8-inch.
Head out the window listening to Jake brakes
Yeah.
and turbos.
Yeah, so it means a lot to us. It has a lot to do with why we got into diesel stuff in the first place. And so it's going to be cool to just take something cool over there that is not going to be something that you see every day. It's not every day you see an S160 on 42s with a 12-valve in it.
Yeah.
So it should be cool, and we're excited to go there and support them and, see and be seen.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to get this thing running. We've got, what is today's date?
August 12th. So we got 30 days.
September and October.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, we got about 30 or 40 days, and we need to, engine, trans, motor mounts, radiator mount, intercooler, piping, electrical, finish the brakes, front and rear drive shafts, crossmember, shifter, boot,
Fuel system.
wiring harness. Did I say that yet?
I don't know. Fuel system. Weld
Fuel
the bed
system.
on, cut the fenders out.
Test drive it, maybe once.
Maybe once, because it's about a 2.5 hour drive. So, just a few. It's simple. though.
Yeah, we'll have most of that done this afternoon.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, let's stab the motor in this thing and try to get something done. Let's rock. It's getting western right here. We got a little body work to do, bud, but we got a little bit of a push right here. Luke did it.
Nah, Willie's fault.
It was cherry until I had Luke help.
Yeah.
Come on.
You gonna run the camera?
I did.
All right, dude. So we're gonna try to run this thing in there.
He said he did it.
Do it. Good job. Okay, dude, run the camera. Dude, it's in there. Check it out. Freaking thing looks like it was meant to be in there. Let's get up here where we can see a little better. Look at that. Clearance. Oh yeah. Looking clean, old son. Got to pick up the back of this thing to get it to kind of level out a little bit. The front is too high, so we're gonna run the screw jack up in the back on the trans and get this thing set up where it needs to be. But it looks like we got plenty of room for the hood to close. We got room for more turbo action over there if we need to add some. We got room for a radiator. I don't know about an intercooler, but it might be non-intercooled or air to water or something. But looks pretty freaking sweet.
Is that thing gonna fall out from underneath there? Or are you gonna be able to adjust stuff?
Well, I mean, it is angled, but
The whole thing would have to slide forward, right, to do that? All right, so it looks like we're gonna have to shimmy this thing over across the floor a little bit to kind of get it to where it needs to be. But right now we got weight sitting on the front of the motor, and we got some weight sitting on the back on the screw jack. So now we'll be able to kind of make some adjustments and add a little bit of room here and there so that the pan will clear in the front. And once we get that kind of squared up at the front side of it, we'll center the tail shaft up to where it needs to be, and then we'll start working on a cross member. So motor mounts and cross member coming up. Okay, so we've used these quite a few times, and they are really straightforward, really solid kit. All the wires labeled, really straightforward install. All kinds of, it shows you where the fuse locations are, what the color coded wire is, and what that circuit's for. So we're gonna get this thing pulled out and weave it in that truck and try to find the best spot to put the fuse panel and start running some wire. All right, moving along pretty good on this thing, and right now we went and found some stuff out of the scrap pile because, well, one, the truck's never going to get a paint job, and two, you might as well reuse the stuff that you have as far as radiuses and bends anyway, because, I mean, for us, we very rarely do anything that's like show truck stuff, if ever. We just more kind of don't really care about that. I mean, there's instances where we try to make stuff look fancy and pretty, but like on our own stuff, very rarely do we do that. So Steven reused a downpipe over there off of a first gen, just cut section that piece a little bit to make the radius clear. That's looking solid back down the firewall. And this is the stuff off of the bread van that we had years ago. We set a record on fuel only VE, which has been, well, it's been shattered now. Those dudes just made 1170 horse on nitrous and 700 and about 30 horse on fuel. So anyway, we had an old aluminum bread van that we built a rotary pump 12 valve with, and this is some of the piping that's off of it that was up in the container. So Steven just used it, and it was clocked this direction to clear the tunnel, the doghouse rather, in the bread van, and it actually works out pretty decent for AFC adjustment and fuel plate movement and stuff like that. You can get the lines off. So chop this piece because it was actually much longer, and we're just doing a bend this way and down, and so we're just over here holding those up, mocking them up by hand, and put a couple of Sharpie index marks. You can see Steven making tacks on that stuff. And the index marks just help to keep the radiuses, well, indexed where we had them, and then come over here and we can tack weld all this stuff together. And this is going to be cold side charge pipe off of the intercooler. So he's going to weld that piece up. We'll have that to look at here in just a second, and then we'll move over to something else. I don't know if he's got the charge side. No, so the hot side intercooler pipe still left to be done, but this is really easy. There's a single 90 that happens. Actually, there's a couple bends in that. because the compressor outlet is actually is about the same height as this. So by the time you do the radius and come back, there's going to be a 90 and then probably up 15 or 20 degrees and return back to the intercooler to sit flat there. But this is what we're working with over here. So little gap osis right here, we'll blend that and make that work. It's really not bad when you're welding pipe to have a little bit of a gap because the weld actually lays down.
Yeah.
But that's what we're looking at, is making that transition come around and down and into the intercooler on that side. It'll look something like that off the front side. So, and it'll actually like kind of match the patina of the truck.
Yeah.
Rusty pipe, rusty truck. Steven, where you going? We're interviewing Steven. This is Ken's 5. Steven, how come you did a bunch of work without recording it?
I get up really early and I just want to work. I don't want to do anything else.
Whoa, pack your bags. We're going on a guilt trip.
That's all. I woke up at 4:58 this morning and insisted I go to work.
Sorry, guys. We weren't up at 4:58 with Steven, so we're all in trouble. We get a spanking now.
Maybe if you live in Maine, you were probably up at R4:58.
Yeah. I live in Maine.
If you live in California, you probably were maybe just going to bed.
Well, I was behind, so yeah. I live in Maine, California. Small town, not many have heard of.
Yeah.
But last thing we were talking about was our wiring harness, and I showed you the box, and I showed you that we were going to open it and show you, and we didn't show you. So let me show you. This is the basic kit that we use for a lot of stuff. This is a 12 circuit, and I think they offer like a 15 and an 18. A lot of people talk trash about the Speedway harness, but we've used these a bunch.
For the money, and I mean, we have them that are 10, 12 years old in trucks that
no problems.
No, they're perfect. It works perfect.
It's actually pretty good wire, dude, honestly. Like the stuff that comes in here now, it's not fireproof. It's probably Chinesium, you know what I mean, because it's really affordable. But if you don't put your wiring, like if you're half decent at doing wiring, you're not going to leave the wiring where it closes in the door or rubs on the drive shaft or is laying on the header.
It's not going to rub like this against
the
frame rail.
So we haven't had a problem with it. Most of the stuff they have is all GM style connectors, so it's really easy to use parts that you can get at anywhere basically. And even if you want to use some of the original switches, like this thing's got this power switch, ignition switch that's in here, it's pretty freaking gnarly. It's really simple. You look up the schematic for it and you tie it into the wires, and if you're not sure what the wire does, well, you just look at it and read it. You have the chart here that shows you color code and a label, and then when you look to the corresponding wire, it's written on there as well. So like for instance, let me just grab something that's easily read here. You can see like this is labeled, I don't know if the camera's going to focus or not, but yeah, it's hard to see with this camera.
Also
but
shows you how to wire all the gauges in. This is one of their other diagrams. So
it's a legit kit for the money, and the wire's labeled every 6 inches. You know, like this one says oil sending unit, and in 6 inches it says oil sending unit. You know, and it says it every 6. So it's really nifty whenever you're running all these wires, because you can look down and say that you're going to bundle everything up for the dash. Well, you can put everything in there, like, oh, I've got the tach, I've got my coolant temp sensor, I've got my park lights, I've got, you know, whatever. All the stuff that you're going to put into one section, you can literally read it, see the chart corresponding, zip tie it into bundles, and then pull it into the spots where you can start, you know, splitting the wiring up. So he's got his fuse panel mounted up here, nice and clean up under the dash. So when you open the door of the truck, you're not going to see immediately, without, you know, really digging around in there, that it has anything other than a factory setup. And he got some split loom. This is like woven nylon split loom. This is pretty cool stuff because it's like an OE level quality. We're really close to it anyway, and it's got a little split in the side of it that allows you to stick the wiring in there, and then it just kind of spring-loaded rolls back over itself, and it's really easy to loom. You got a couple of P-clamps, and you've got a complete harness sitting where you want it. So got all the headlight wiring, parking lights, the stuff for an alternator excite wire, All that stuff's under the hood. We're going to run a 4-wire external voltage regulator, mainly because we found those to be the most reliable. That allows you to keep a Cummins alternator, which they're good for, I don't know, dude, sometimes 20 years.
The alternator on my truck's 31 years old.
Yeah.
And it couldn't work better.
Yeah, so those alternators work really well, and the 4-wire external regulator is like, what, $25? You can get one anywhere.
Yeah, actually.
Mid-70s Ford.
And they're so baller that I have the one from the grid van from how many years ago?
I don't know, a bunch.
lot? Yeah.
And this
So
is
I'm
the basic. This
I'm
is like the
reusing that
super
one.
basic one. This is
Yeah.
like made in Dongfang, Ching Chang, Wada Bada Bing Bang, and it works like a champion. You can buy one anywhere. They have a really, really smooth charging, like the way that they regulate voltage is really smooth. So when you turn the headlights on, you don't have pulsing with the headlights. They typically sit at idle at 13.8 to 14.1. They just work really well. It doesn't get hot. It's something that we've been doing for a long time, and it's proven to be the most reliable, and it's a lot more reliable than the 2-pole Mopar external regulators of the...
Yeah, and those are on the shelf like everywhere. O'Reilly's, Advanced Auto,
Yeah.
Napa, like everyone has one.
Too easy. So we've got intercooler piping welded up, cold side, hot side, motor mounts, harness, hoses, intercooler, radiator. Damn, dog.
Getting close, brother.
We're not far.
I got the fuel tank is the main thing. Bare knuckle binder is relining it for me.
Are you running a piston pump on the side of the block
Yeah,
still?
still got the factory pump right down there, factory filter. I'm making this
Cool.
as just
Easy, where you can
literally
fix
as-
it anywhere,
as
kind of
cheap
thing.
and as easy as possible. Yeah.
Biggest thing about this truck is being reliable, and so it has really minimal electronics and
And
Mainly mechanical.
We haven't cut any international sheet metal at all to fit all this.
that's awesome, dude.
And it's first gen radiator, first gen intercooler, first gen radiator hoses.
It's
literally
this
a-
stuff barely
it's
fits,
designed
but it fits
to fit.
perfect. Like, look how tight the intercooler is down there.
I mean, I
But
can't
it
run the
clears.
factory fan, but these things, I'm not worried about it getting hot.
Yeah, we're gonna put electric fan on it and a shroud and just call it good.
Yeah.
Not running air conditioning as of yet.
No,
Maybe one day.
maybe.
All right. Well, Steven's a buzzkill, and he said that it's not gonna run today on this video.
No.
Tell us why, Steven, because we all want to know why. We're gonna go buy a shirt at bunkerbranding.com, but we want to know why you're not gonna make it run today, and then we'll decide whether we're gonna buy a shirt.
Wow, that's a lot of pressure on just a guy.
Guy with a big beard. I mean,
Yeah.
you're tough.
Well, the reason we're not going to hear it run is because I still need a fuel system. I still need to finish wiring it. I still need to put coolant in it. I still need to put oil in it. I still need to put diesel in it. I still need to.
Gotta put paint on it.
I have to do. No, I got it painted, but that's the one thing I don't have to do.
Wow.
So
You know
yeah,
what this sounds like
it's
to
just
me?
probably excuses.
Sound like it's a whole bunch of excuses. Maybe if this dude would get up early in the morning and get to work, he'd get some of this stuff done.
I'm doing my level best.
He's doing his level best. All right, guys. Next time, we ought to hear this truck run.
Yeah, next video for sure on Brutus. Not this video, next one, bam, tourer, blah. It'll run no matter what.
If not, then y'all just get together, hit me up. We'll beat Steven up in the parking lot.
Yeah.
For not making it run, and then we'll just go from there.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, till next time. Nighty night. Sleepy tight.